Happy Friday, May 16th, 2025. Hope you had an excellent week in the markets and a really good month of May so far. So right here on my screen, you can see my journal with Tradeify. I have the 150K straight to funding accounts with them. It's been going really well. I've gotten 2 complete sets of payouts on each account. So that's $30,000 that I've requested, and take home that equates to $27,000. So I'm super stoked with the way that's been going, and hopefully we'll be taking some more payouts next week on these accounts as well. So that's Tradeify. Also, if you're interested, they do have a 35% off sale right now. You can use my code. It's Sean Trades. If not, they have a code just called Spring. Hit that in when you're going to checkout, and you'll get 35% off. So check them out. Let's dive in to MotiveWave real quick. Here is my Apex accounts. I have 20 PA accounts, and I have some Apex evals that are passed, and I have one Apex eval that I've just been kind of working on. So all green today, Friday. I have about $140 trading the micros, just kind of scalping. I know there's been a lot of people asking, like, what sort of setups do I use? What am I looking for? So I'm going to go real briefly over a couple things that I look for. So right here, ES, NQ, I have it set to cross trade the micros. And I'm going to go in depth real quick. So if you have MotiveWave, feel free to pause the video, copy the settings, whatever you want to do. If not, most other charting platforms also have the same sort of indicators you can throw on your charts. And yeah, let's get going. So first and foremost, this is a 15-minute NASDAQ chart. I have it set to cross trade the micros, but I like to get all my indicators and data off the E-mini NQ. So I have these blue lines, these solid ones, where I have it labeled IBH and IBL. That is basically the first hour of price action. So from 9:30 to 10:30 East Coast time, it's going to bracket off the high and the low. I use that quite a bit. This dashed blue line is just a basic VWAP. I have that on my charts. And then the solid yellow lines are basically a volume profile, but I've taken out the histogram, so I don't see any of the histogram for the profile. I just have the value low, or value area low, and value area high. So on MotiveWave, it's called volume imprint. So if you go right click on your chart, go to add studies, you can type or go all studies and then type in, if you just do volume, it's going to pull up anything that has to do with volume, and you should be able to find volume imprint right down here. So add that to your chart. I'm going to open up the settings for it so you can kind of see where I'm going. On this first one, general, I do the tick interval to 4. So that basically means each point on the NASDAQ, it's going to be doing a volume profile thing. And then I have 25 imprint count. So it will post these 25 times on my chart. That's plenty of look back for me. And then I go over to the profile. I have this bar color. I have it set to transparent. If you do like to see the histograms, you can change that. And you can see this is this is outside of value, because these yellow lines indicate where the value area is. This is outside. So I personally don't like to see that. Some people do trade based off that, so it's all personal preference. I'm going to go ahead and put mine back to transparent. And that's where this general display, like if you change the tick interval, you'll have more histograms versus less. So it's all user preference there. And then down here in the value area, I have my range set to 70%, which is pretty standard. And then again, bar color, I can show you what it looks like when you have it inside the value area. You can see all the histogram there. A lot more volumes taking place. That's why these histograms protrude further out. But I'm not really looking at that, so I'll change it back. If you're also interested in a pointed control bar, some people like to have that. You can add that as well. If you want to have this area filled with a color, you can easily do that. Say if you want to do a green color for value, you can see it's all highlighted right there. Personally, I'm keeping it pretty simple and have most of those things set to transparent so they don't show up. Now, the other thing you'll need to look at, go to options, visibility. So graph is price graph, and then bar size set to 1 day. If you have it towards a different time interval, it's going to put a volume profile on each individual candle, and I'm not trading based on that. So maybe you find that's useful. There's more than several ways you can trade. So not judging if you like that, but I just do the 1 day. That way I have one setting for each day. So that is my main setup for my 15-minute charts. This is where I do most of my analysis and where I try to frame a trade. So today, here I'll just do one. I'll show you what I was kind of looking for today. So this is regular trading hours only too. I don't know if I mentioned that. So I don't have the Asian session, the overnight London session on here. I just have the US market session. So it stops yesterday and then it opens back up the morning. So you can easily right click, show extended data if you want to see the overnight session. But for what I'm doing, I don't need it. So keep it simple. You can see over here, this is the previous day's value area, this yellow line, 21,462. Today, we actually opened outside of value. You see over here at 6:30 a.m., the opening was above that. And then we closed inside of it. So this is something where I personally trade looking for it to come all the way back up and retest this 462. And it did, but it took a while, and I was able to scalp some. Other people might be more aggressive and say, hey, we closed back within value. I'm going to go ahead and get short. And we did have a nice move down, but you took some heat here. Others might have been using this as a, hey, okay, we closed back in the 15 minutes in yesterday's value area. I'm now going to go to a smaller time frame, see if there's any setups you like to look for that give you a short signal, and you could have gotten a nice short signal. But this was just me personally. Usually it comes back up quicker and tests that area and then goes back down low. So that's what I'm looking for. Obviously, this doesn't happen all the time. Nothing's a guaranteed in trading. This is just kind of a framework that I like to use. So today it went up, and then obviously it came back up to the initial balance. So you could have added a little bit more short there. And then it started to free fall a little bit. So didn't have to hold too long, and you could have gotten some nice profits. So that's like one of the main trades that I look for. It does not happen every day though, where you open outside of the previous day's value and then close within. So be on the lookout, just something to have in the back of your mind, looking for those sort of things. Because over here, if you go back yesterday, it's actually 2 days in a row where we opened outside the previous day's value. So you can see here on May 15th, we opened down here, previous day's value is up here. We end up closing above that level at 33, and we actually closed it on this candle, tested it, and ripped higher. If you missed this initial test here, you could have actually waited till it came back and tested later in the afternoon. Took a little bit of heat, but then it also ripped higher too. So several options you could have done just on if price opened outside of the previous day's value area and then came back into it. So that is one trade setup I use. I'll be sharing a couple more that I do. I'm sure you can guess it's all based on initial balance, VWAP, and these value areas. So I keep it pretty simple. Most of the time I'm trying to get in and out pretty quick, especially trade with prop firms, just trying to get that money and close it. So anyways, you all have a great weekend. Thanks for checking out the video. I'll be doing some more again soon on some other things I look for. And as always, be safe. See you next week. All right, take care.